We walk across a room without a thought. This is how a toddler sees the world. To them, everything is constantly being processed, even if they're familiar with their surroundings. Their speed is quick, balance is wobbly, dozens of items are flooding into their sightlines at once, and everything they touch has a new and different tactile experience. Children are affected by their surroundings. Everything they see, hear, touch, taste, and smell shapes the person they will become. Child development specialists with the American Medical Association say our brains process twice as much new information in the first 3 years of life than in our entire adulthood. In the first year, it will double in size, and by age 3, it will reach 80% of its full-grown size. So the more positive information we can give to little ones by using as many of their senses at a time as possible, the quicker they'll learn and the more information they'll retain. So how can the arts, theater in particular, help these large brains in these tiny bodies reach their full potential? Lori Gooding heads the arts therapy program at the University of Kentucky. Music and theater are now being used to rehabilitate patients at UK Hospital. And Gooding says the principles that help patients both mentally and physically are similar to what's needed for healthy toddler growth.
Young children learn through play, and what's more natural than music and art and pretend? Pretend is just acting. So I can't think of a more appropriate way especially for young children, for them to learn. I mean, if you asked a room full of 50 people, probably 49 of the 50 of them learn their ABCs by singing it. And so I don't think there's a better way at that stage for them to connect with the information that they need to get, and do so in a way that allows them to be creative and allows them to be themselves, while still also getting that much needed and very important information. We also know that being active in the arts and things like that encourages their self-esteem, encourages their social interaction. It allows the brain to connect in ways that it wouldn't connect if you didn't do those types of activities. We know that the research shows us that, at least for music, individuals who played music at a younger age, their brains are literally shaped and function differently than those who didn't, because what they're doing musically allows their brains to make different connections than they would otherwise. So that's a pretty strong support for doing things like the arts, is that it literally reshapes and helps your brain function differently.
As adults, we can sit still for long periods of time during meetings, classes, plays, movies, usually only relying on sight and sound to keep our attention. Theater for the very young is designed to tap into all of the senses, so these young audiences will be completely engaged and learning for short periods of time. In this production of Egg and Spoon, performed by the Lingo Theatre Company from the United Kingdom, the story was told with bold movement, brilliant color, prop pieces for toddlers to touch and use, and even the fragrance of flowers wafting through the theater. Lingo's trademark features are a singular visual flair and inventive use of props beautifully designed and handmade theater toys. Their goal is to create an interactive and genuine approach to play.
This is Birdie. Birdie's still inside his egg. He's a bit late this year. He's still asleep. And he's dreaming. What do eggs dream about?
From the Netherlands comes choreographer Cordua Magnies, who wanted to design a show that introduced audiences 5 and under to classical music and ballet. It led to the creation of Klein Schwanemeer, which means Little Swan Lake. This became the first performance these children will ever see of the famous Tchaikovsky ballet. The hope is that there will now be a connection to the classics, which will grow into a love for the art forms in adulthood. Theater for very young audiences has been booming in Europe for more than a decade. Thanks to touring shows like Egg and Spoon and Klein Schwanemeer that have been brought to the United States, the medium is beginning to take off at theater companies across the country. And these shows are catching the attention of the American Academy of Pediatrics. This group of experts believes theater and music teach 1 to 3-year-olds motor skills, coping skills, social interaction, reasoning, and problem solving. They find children who are introduced to the arts at an earlier age learn more in less time, discover how to recognize their emotions more readily, memorize more quickly, and have higher test scores throughout their school years. So the next time you sing the Itsy Bitsy Spider while acting it out with a 2-year-old, or sit through what seems like a short little kid's play, know that those squirmy, chatty little toddlers are making millions of connections in their brains that will help them grow into better thinkers, better learners, and more well-rounded adults.